In this episode, I want to talk about some tools that we can add to the bottom of our raft to help us get in an upside down raft. Rafts do flip, it's a thing that happens, and you should be prepared. You should know how you're going to get on your upside down raft, which depends on your boat, your physical fitness, and your ability just to be a ninja to jump on things. There's a few different ways to get on an upside down raft. One of them is to climb up on the side. I really struggle with this one, and it's sort of boat dependent. I'm a fan of going to the ends. It depends on you, your physical ability, but it's something you should practice. I think the ends are better. Unless a boat has a ton of rocker, then it's really hard to climb up the sides. If it's too much rocker, it's hard to get up that kind of hill that's created. But again, it's something you should prepare for, you should think about. The biggest thing you need to think about is what you're going to grab. And every raft is a little bit different. They're all manufactured differently. I would say on air and wing, they're some of the hardest to do if you've done nothing extra, because on an air, you have to put your fingers, sometimes you get two fingers, sometimes one finger into these pieces of rope, and you have to basically pull yourself up on that, which is really hard to do. Other rafts that have drain holes or things are a little bit easier, but I would say wing is probably the hardest, and you probably need to add something. Some boats also don't have drain holes until way up here. So when the boat's upside down, there's nothing to grab. So you might want to consider adding extra drain holes by punching through the material or doing some other thing. Here's the thing that I really like personally. I like adding these little handles. This is just a little bit of webbing. There's one here and here. So that I'm in the water, I can reach for the handles, get myself up on the boat, and I've added a second set up here and here, so I have something to grab onto when I get a little bit higher. So I'm a big fan of these little loops I make with webbing. They're a pain to tie. It's something that could end up on rocks, could grab a rock, could grab a twig theoretically. But for me, the ability to get on the boat quickly is more important. Also, when the boat's upside down, I now have something to hold. If I'm riding a rapid upside down, there's nothing to grab. These are something I can actually hold to stay on the boat, and a few for different people. You want to be careful not to make these so big that a hand or a foot can get through though. The other option I would call a belly line, and this is something I would personally use in like the Grand Canyon, really big water, and it's just a line along the boat. And the way it works is you tie it onto the D-rings at the bow and the stern, and you need D-rings to do this. You need D-rings at the bow and the stern. And if you do this, it kind of ties up your bow and stern D-rings. So something to think about. Some boats have two D-rings, that's really nice. But you basically have this line that you can pull yourself up to get back on the boat. It actually works really well. And then when you're on the upside down boat, you have something to grab. A couple thoughts with this one. Again, people worry that you could hit this on a rock if you're sideways, which is a possibility. It's more possible to do with this than this. You want it tight. This one is not tight enough. You want it really tight if you can. And I would choose to use webbing, like high quality webbing that's easy to grab, but also lays flat along the bottom of the boat. So those are my favorite things I add to my boats. I personally, again, really like these. It takes a little bit of time to do. You can use this 1/2 inch tubular webbing or 1 inch tubular webbing. Both work pretty well, but I would suggest take your boat, turn it upside down, and think about, how am I going to get on this upside down boat? And if you have great physical fitness, you're super strong, you typically don't need much. But as you get older, or as your fitness levels decrease and your strength decreases, you're going to want to add some sort of tool like this to get back in the boat. If you have questions, add them in the comments. If you have other ideas, other things you would use, please tell me. These are just things that I do in practice. There's probably more really good ideas. So if you have good ideas, put those down in the comment section below. That's it for this episode. See you next time.